Dustin Young 86 here, aka the Real World Champion, here with some bad news. I did try to record the video for the torso crack. It did not go according to plan because Mankind wanted to be an asshole. However, I did grab another Mankind from my box. I am going to crack the torso on this one, and I will shoot the video for this one, and then I will show you the acetoning and the gluing and all that of the other one, because there's two pieces in this torso that didn't want to come apart that are right here and right here, and I want to show you a full torso crack so I can show you everything on the inside and show you exactly how it's done from start to finish. So let me get to where I was going with this. So first thing you're going to need is you're going to need gloves, razor blade, a figure, of course, screwdriver, Loctite liquid super glue, acetone, I prefer the Onyx brand, Q-tips, and I have a rag bag here where I keep old socks and old wash rags that I use for acetoning and removing paint from figures. There's a rag in here that was used on Jeff Hardy. Anyways, so first things first is you're going to want to put your gloves on. This is step one. You always want to wear your gloves due to the fact that, actually I'm going to move the camera down so you guys can see what's going on down here. First thing you want to do is you want to put your gloves on because you don't want to hurt your hands. You don't want the blade to come free and catch you in the finger, catch you in the hand. I actually want to show you, I believe I showed in the other one, I actually have a scar right here on my hand from when I was, my friend and I were trying to take these guns off of Marvel Legends Punisher base back in 2005, and I had a razor blade and I was going off and I tried to get the gun and it came loose and caught me right here. It stopped here. Had it went here, I would have been dead. So ever since then, I wear gloves. I always wear gloves. You will never see me do a video on torso cracking without gloves on. If you do, it's not me. So anyways, you want to have your gloves. And then you're going to want to take your blade. Well, first off, you're going to want to remove the head. Doesn't matter if you break it. It's a fucking head. It doesn't matter. It's BCA. It's rubber. You can glue it back on. You're going to glue it back on anyways. So no need to boil it. Anyway, so what you're going to do is you're going to look along the side of the figure here. Maybe a little bit more apparent on this one than the other one. But on one side, it's a little rigid, and it like sways and whatnot and curves. But on this other side, you can see the crease is straight down, up and down. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your razor blade, which I need to clean because the other figure wanted to get glue all over it. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your razor blade, turn your figure sideways so that way the torso side is exposed. You're going to want to take your razor blade and dig it in. And this is the, nope, wrong side. You're going to want to dig it into the straight edge side, as you can see, so that way you get a straight, clean cut on your torso. You hear that pop? That means that you are in. So now you're going to want to follow your cut. Wait, where's the cut on it? You're going to want to follow your cut down. Just far enough to where you can get your screwdriver in. This one's going to be an asshole too. So you're going to want to follow your cut down just far enough to where you can get your screwdriver into the gap up top here. You want to continue to cut on the crease though. Yep, that torso's open. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick my screwdriver in, and I'm just going to pry. Since the other side didn't open, I'm going to take, mind you, this is glue from 1993, so I'm going to go to the other side because that didn't open. And now I'm going to take my blade, now that I got it in there, take the screwdriver, turn that sumbitch sideways, and pry. So that's off. I don't know why none of these torsos want to crack properly. It's really starting to get to me because... Okay, so I just had to pry that by hand because it wanted to be a whole dildo. Anyways, when you get it open, this is what you'll see. I can crack a lower torso too, or a crotch rather, which I'll do for you guys because I want you to see the full experience. So what you'll do for a lower torso is what you're going to do is you're just going to go along the crotch line here. You're going to take your blade and just cut like you did on the other part of the torso. But you want to keep your fingers clear. See, you hear that crack? Just want to go to the center. Cut straight through. Like I could probably even do this. Cut straight through. To the other side. And see, this one just popped right open because it likes me and it doesn't hate me. So, also, as you'll see, if you have a loose arm, or we'll get to that in a second, rather. Okay, so now that I have this open, you can see that, actually, if I really wanted to, I guess I could make a later mankind on the brown. Anyways, so this torso sucks. Decided it wanted to come apart whatever way it wanted to come apart. Don't think, it didn't break. It just wanted to be a dick. Either way, this is your torso. It's broken in half. It's open. It's what you'll see when you open it. You'll see this. So it doesn't matter if a peg breaks, you just glue onto the peg. This is the crotch. I cut through the top here, so when you put it back together, you may have a slight gapping, but not too much. But you won't even see it because it's going to be the crotch of the, So you glue that back together. You put a dab of glue here, dab of glue there, a little bit of glue here and on the sides. Then on the arms, if you have a loose arm, you can actually tighten these screws on the arm and the leg, and that'll tighten your joints up. I don't recommend doing a full torso crack just to tighten joints, but if that's what you want to do, they're your figures, do what you want. So that's how you crack the figures, okay? Now that we've got this figure in 4 different parts, so you can see this. I might actually use these arms on my Dude Love. I'm thinking about it, because I can't stand that stupid slammer action. But I'm stuck with the shirt either way, so I don't know. Anyways, so now what we're going to do is we are going to acetone these pants. So you can see that they have the Road Dogg logo on the side and these white on the boots. So what I'm going to start by doing is, I'm on my kitchen table, so I don't want to ruin it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a cap full of acetone and set that on my glove here because I don't want acetone on my table. And then I'm going to take a Q-tip because I'm going to start with the white on the boots. So I'm going to take a Q-tip, dip it in there, and then I'm just going to go over the boots with that. And as you can see, it's already coming off. I'm just going to go over it lightly for now. This part I'll go over with a rag. I just want to get in these little trouble areas first and then worry about everything else. Because the boots are the smallest part, so I want to get those taken care of first. And then I'll go over it with a rag, try to get the bigger areas, and then anything left I'll go over with the rag again. So, or I mean, I'll go over with the Q-tip again. By the way, this is the first time I've ever given a full insider video on how I do what I do. So this is new to me too. I did one for the Mattel figures, but never in depth from start to finish like this. So, let's see, we're just trying to get all the logos off the boots. I'll probably have to get in there a little bit better. As you can see, the boots are coming off. This is what it looked like before, this is what it looks like now. I'm not done yet, but I'll get it completely off so you can see what a before and after looks like. I'll do one whole leg and then I'll show you the other leg when I'm done. So you can see a before and after of what it looks like. So I'm just going and putting the acetone on there and then going over it lightly. You don't want to go too deep because the acetone will eat it if you put too much. So you want to be very careful with this. You want to only use it in areas that you need to use it in. You don't want to overdo it on the acetone. So here is, let's see. This might be a 30-minute video, so if you're still here, I appreciate it. So So anyways, there's the boot with it removed. I'm going to work on this side of the leg now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use a rag on this. Rag or a sock, whatever you have handy. Don't use anything good because it's not going to be... So I'm going to use just this rag. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use it like rubbing alcohol. And just dab it on the side there. And then I'm going to take, I put some on here, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to rub it off. And you don't want to go over it too many times with the same spot because you want, so what I'm doing is I'll show you on the next one. I didn't notice it wasn't on camera, I'm sorry. So what you want to do is you don't want to go over it too many times with the same area of the rag, because then you're just spreading around what you've already done. So what you want to do is you want to take the acetone and just be liberal with it. It doesn't matter. And then just rub away the decal. And like I said, you want to, if you get a spot where it's like deep in there, that's a crevice and you can't get to it, you can always use a Q-tip. So don't feel like, you know, you have to use a rag on these big spots. It's all about what you feel most comfortable getting the logo off most effectively. So I'm actually going to switch back to the Q-tip, because I've tried it a couple times and I can't quite get what I want from this. So I'm going to go ahead and use the Q-tip and get into these little problem areas. and then I'll probably go with one last wipe over it with the one or two more wipes over it with the rag, just to make sure that it's all cleaned up and it's nice and black like I want it to be, instead of with the logos. So actually I'm going to use a different rag because that one is old. And let me see what I got. I think I have a sock in here. I also use socks. Socks are good too for it. Same material, I believe. So this is a new sock too, newer. So I'm just gonna rub this off. Sorry for being quiet, I'm just trying to focus on what I'm doing. And then there are going to be little holes on these. I'm just going to take my blade in there and just spin around, try and get the little bits of excess paint. Don't dig like I wish I had a toothpick or something on me. I'm just too lazy to get up again. But either way, get in there, get those little tiny pieces of paint, little specks, if you will. And then I'm almost done with this side, so I can show you a before and after. So this is what it looked like before. This side over here, before. This is what it looks like after. So these will be sweatpants for Mick Foley. From Road Dogg to Mick Foley. So now I'm going to do the other side. Like I said, I can be a little bit more liberal with the acetone on this, because, you know, I can go a little bit faster too, because I'm not trying to show off. I already showed you guys how to do it on one side. You guys, I hope you guys have the hang of it by now. I mean, if not, I mean, I don't think I can help you, but I'll do my very best. I mean, you guys can if you guys have custom questions, you guys can always ask them. I'm more than willing to answer them, you know, when I get a chance. My friends call me the part guru because I can normally pull part selections out of my ass. So, I mean, if you need help with that, I'm also available for that. So, just trying to get this side off, and then I need to use the Q-tip because I need to get in these little crevices here and clean those up first and foremost, because those are the problem areas for me, because I went over with the sock here a couple times and can't quite get them, so I know that's the area I need to be focusing on with Q-tips. These little creases that are assholes, like especially with the signature and whatnot. You know, I could probably leave some of this white on here and it would probably look better for Mick Foley, but I really don't care to do that because, you know, I'm really focused on making this look really good and clean. So I mean, even leaving like a little white smudge here and there might be nice, but it's not really what I'm going for. So here we go. Almost done here. Just maybe about a couple more minutes, and then I can get to showing you how to glue everything back together. You know, I also want to throw a shout out to Chicago for that for his website. Actually, his checklist helped me figure out all the info I needed on the BCAs that I didn't know about. I checked there. I wish I knew the name of the site by heart so I could give it a shout out. But yeah, that's the site I go to check on when I don't know figure knowledge. When it comes to the BCAs, that's where I head to find the information. So I'm just going in between the laces now on the other boot so I can get in and get it finished. It's just the small crevices. It's almost as if like when you get to the boot you have to focus on each crevice one by one. So I just put a little extra acetone in it, so when I dabbed the Q-tip on it, it got in there and it loosened up the paint a little bit so I can just swab it out. Still difficult, but a little bit easier. So just maybe one more Q-tip and I should be done with this. I can get to the next step. I'm just trying to get this last bit of the white out of this boot here. It's being a bitch. And I don't want to leave it behind. So okay, so now that I've done that, I don't need my glove or my screwdriver anymore. I won't need my razor blade. Now all I'm going to need is, I'm not going to even need the acetone anymore. All I'm going to need is the torso, the legs, and the glue. So, got my Loctite. Got my torso that didn't want to crack all the way, and I got my legs. So what I'm going to do first is, because I know that this torso doesn't want to cooperate the way I want it to, actually I am going to use my screwdriver to try and get this torso back together properly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the glue here and I'm going to put it just on these two pegs that did come out. Just going to open that, put some glue there, put some glue there, and then I'm going to take the legs and I'm going to place them in there. Then I'm going to take my screwdriver here because I know that this will help. I'm going to slide that in, slide that in. And because I know that it didn't want to hold, or that it bent a little bit, I'm going to hold the torso, just pinch it together for a couple minutes, just so I know that, you know, it's going to stick. I don't want it to come apart. I want the glue to stay together. And if it doesn't stick, I can always, you know, take it apart and glue it again. It's just I don't want the torso to go to waste by me not paying good attention to it. So I'm just remaining pinching it, just, you know, holding it. I need to put the cap on my glue. And now I have a choice of which Mankind head I want to use. Am I going to use the older one, or am I going to use the one that actually came off of it? And I think I'm going to use the one that actually came off of it because it looks pretty good. All the studs are painted. This one seems to fit a little better though. Maybe it's the way I broke it off. Oh, well, either way I'll make it work. Cool, so it's stuck together. So there's that, as you can see. A little bit of gapping, but I think that's because the torso bent. I'm not happy with it, I can tell you that much. But I only got one crack at it, no pun intended. Now I'm going to take this, put a little glue on there, put a little glue on the back of the neck, put just a dab on the front, and then I will line it up, put it back on. Of course. So here is my Mankind on sweats. Looks good. Not sure how I feel about it yet. Once everything's done drying, take a better look at it, see how I feel about it. For now, I think it's a pretty good representation. I am going to go ahead and glue this Mankind all back together so you guys can have a good idea of how to do it from head to toe. I did want to show you what this Mankind looked like when I finished it because I did promise, and I am one to keep my promises. This Mankind will have torso gapping because a piece did break off the side of the torso when I was cutting it. Let me see if I can glue it back on before I put it back together. If I can do that, maybe it might not be so bad. If I can figure out how it fell off, I can probably have better luck putting it back together, huh? Yeah, I'm not even going to worry about it. What I'll do is I'll go ahead and glue this back together so you guys can see. So these are the legs. So what you're going to want to do, let me get all this out of the way here. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to set your body parts out the way you want them to go together. You're going to want to set everything out. Get it all, you know, put your legs with your legs, your arms with your arms. Put everything together, and then you're going to want to put the back of your legs, the back of the crotch, and then your legs on. And then you're just going to want to set it down like that. Now you're going to take the front, because the front has the peg, it could be different. You're going to want to put the glue where I stated. There, 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 and there. Then you're going to pick it up as carefully as possible. Put the crotch back together. So that's glued. You can wipe off any excess with your finger there if you want. Just want to make sure your legs are moving. You want to make sure you didn't glue them, because if you did, you want to keep them moving so the glue dries, you know, while the legs are moving, so it doesn't glue them together. So then you get your torso. Take the back of your torso, plug your arm in, plug your torso in, plug your other arm in. Well, actually, you want to do this first. You want to take your torso with the holes in it, with the hole side, and you want to just put your glue, just a little drop in each hole. You don't want to fill it up, you just want to put a drop in each hole, so that way you know you got enough in there to where when this side goes in, it's going to react and grab it. So now you're going to put this on the torso. Now you're going to put the arms on. Of course something doesn't want to line up. So you plug that in, plug in all the parts, just push it back together. Make sure everything's in where it should be, and then you just hold it for like maybe 20 to 30 seconds just to make sure that everything goes back together. Spin your waist to make sure it's not glued. You spin your arms a little bit while you're holding it. Check your legs again. Spin the waist. Make sure it's not glued. Okay, your torso should be glued back together for the most part. And then take the glue. You put a little bit in the head. Put the head on the body. Hold for about 20 seconds. There you go. Disassembled, reassembled mankind. Anyways, that's the video. This may come in 2 parts. The ending's just me putting the mankind back together. I did want to get it all together, but apparently I went over. My phone only records 30 minutes at a time. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope this was informative. If there's any other videos you want to see, anything else you need to you have questions about, feel free to shoot me a PM. It's the Real World Champion on WFigs. Get a hold of me. I will answer anything I can for you guys. See you guys next time.